When a narcissist sees you as being too strong, they'll do this strength is a light that reveals true character. But to a narcissist, your strength is a threat, a challenge to their control and ego. When they see you standing tall, unyielding and confident, their instinct is not to celebrate your power, but to undermine it. They cannot tolerate a force that refuses to bow, so they unleash tactics designed to fracture your spirit and cloud your vision. Today, we uncover the ways a narcissist reacts when confronted by your strength, and more importantly, how you can stand firm, refuse their manipulation, and let your resilience shine brighter than ever before. When a narcissist perceives your strength, they will try to dismantle your confidence by planting seeds of doubt. When a narcissist sees you as being too strong, their first instinct is to dismantle your confidence because they understand that your strength is their greatest threat. Narcissists thrive on control, admiration, and the illusion that they are superior to those around them. When you show unwavering confidence, self-assurance, and clarity of purpose, you shatter the fragile facade they have built around themselves. This is why their initial and most potent weapon against you is to attack the very foundation of your inner belief, your confidence. They do this by planting seeds of doubt, subtle at first, like whispers in the wind that slowly take root and grow into swirling storms of uncertainty in your mind. These seeds come in many forms: small criticisms masked as concern, backhanded compliments designed to confuse, or constant questioning of your decisions and abilities that slowly erode your certainty. They will exploit any insecurity you have, magnifying it relentlessly, and convincing you that your strengths are actually weaknesses, or worse, that you are somehow undeserving of your success and happiness. This tactic is not accidental, it is calculated and relentless. The narcissist knows that if they can make you doubt yourself, you become easier to control, manipulate, and influence. The moment your confidence falters, their grip tightens. Because doubt breeds hesitation, fear, and compliance, they will question your memory, your intentions, and your motivations until you start second, guessing your own reality, what is often called gaslighting. This psychological manipulation turns your strengths into liabilities in your own mind, making you feel unstable and unsure. You might begin to ask yourself, am I really as capable as I thought? Did I misunderstand what happened? Maybe I am too sensitive or too proud. These questions, though seemingly innocent, are exactly what the narcissist wants. Their goal is to destabilize you emotionally and mentally, weakening your resolve. But this assault on your confidence is rarely overt. Narcissists are masters of disguise, cloaking their attacks in words that seem caring or helpful on the surface. They may say things like, "I'm just trying to help you see things clearly," or "maybe you're overreacting," making it sound like they have your best interests at heart, while simultaneously undermining your sense of self. This duplicitous behavior confuses their targets because it mixes concern with criticism, love with control. The more you try to defend yourself or assert your strength, the more they accuse you of being defensive or arrogant. This twisting of reality is designed to keep you off balance, to make you question whether your confidence is justified or simply arrogance that needs to be corrected. What makes this especially dangerous is that the narcissist often isolates you emotionally and mentally during this process. They discourage you from seeking outside opinions or support by convincing you that others don't understand the real you like they do. They create a narrative that you are the only one who truly cares, or that your friends and family are misguided or jealous. By cutting off your sources of encouragement and validation, the narcissist ensures that the only voice you hear is theirs, and that voice is consistently tearing down your confidence. It becomes a lonely battle, one where your strength is tested by waves of self, doubt crashing against your resolve. However, the key to overcoming this insidious attack lies in recognizing the pattern for what it is. A deliberate strategy to weaken you, and refusing to accept it as truth. Confidence is not an absence of doubt, but the courage to act despite it. When you understand that the seeds of doubt are being planted intentionally to destabilize you, you can start to guard your mind and heart with greater awareness. You remind yourself daily of your worth, your accomplishments, and your values, not because of what others say, but because you know your own truth. Rebuilding confidence after it has been shaken requires patience, self-compassion, and a firm refusal to internalize the narcissist's distortions. It may also mean reaching out to trusted friends, mentors, or professionals who can provide objective perspectives and affirm your strength. Moreover, standing strong against a narcissist's attempts to dismantle your confidence is not about proving them wrong or winning their approval. It's about reclaiming your power and understanding that your value does not depend on their recognition or validation. Strength is a light that comes from within, and once you learn to nurture that light despite the darkness they try to cast, the seeds of doubt will fail to take root. You develop a resilience that no manipulation can break, a fortress built on self-awareness, self-love, and unwavering belief in your own worth. In conclusion, when a narcissist sees your strength, their first and most damaging tactic is to attack your confidence by sowing doubt. This psychological warfare aims to dismantle the foundation of your power so they can maintain control. But true strength shines brightest when you refuse to let those seeds of doubt grow. By recognizing their tactics, protecting your mind, and reaffirming your self-worth, you not only preserve your confidence, you build an unbreakable spirit that no narcissist can shake. This is the power of standing strong, not in spite of the doubt they try to plant, but because you rise above it, rooted in the certainty of your own strength. They weaponize manipulation to isolate you from your support, hoping to weaken your foundation. When a narcissist recognizes your strength, they understand that your power is not just internal. It's also deeply connected to the people who stand beside you. Your support network, friends, family, mentors, colleagues, is the bedrock of your resilience. It is this circle of trust and encouragement that fuels your confidence, offers perspective, and reminds you of your worth. To the narcissist, this network is a threat because it acts as a shield, protecting you from their attempts to control or diminish you. Therefore, their next strategy after attempting to dismantle your confidence is to weaponize manipulation in order to isolate you from your support system. This tactic is as calculated as it is cruel, designed to sever the lifelines that sustain your strength, leaving you vulnerable and alone. Isolation is the narcissist's silent weapon. Unlike open conflict, which would expose their true nature, manipulation to isolate you is subtle and insidious, often disguised as concern, protection, or loyalty. They begin by sowing discord between you and those who care about you, planting doubts about the intentions or loyalty of your closest allies. They might insinuate that your friends or family do not truly have your best interests at heart, or that they are envious or jealous of your success. These seeds of suspicion grow over time, making you question the authenticity of your relationships. When you start doubting the people around you, your natural response is to pull back, to close off, and to rely more heavily on the narcissist, who presents themselves as your only steadfast supporter. This is the trap they set, a trap where isolation becomes a prison and the narcissist becomes the warden. The manipulation goes beyond mere words. Narcissists are skilled at creating situations that strain your relationships. They may spread rumors, distort facts, or twist conversations in ways that pit your support system against you. For example, they might exaggerate harmless disagreements or misunderstandings, framing them as betrayals or rejections. This behavior erodes trust between you and those you love, making reconciliation difficult and causing emotional distance. Sometimes the narcissist even uses your own vulnerabilities or personal history against you, sharing private information with others to create embarrassment or discomfort. This violation of trust deepens your sense of isolation and makes it harder for you to seek comfort or help. As the walls of isolation close in, the narcissist increases their control. With fewer voices to challenge their narrative, they become the primary source of information and emotional feedback in your life. This creates a dangerous dependency where your perception of reality is filtered almost exclusively through their lens. Without the balance of diverse perspectives, their manipulative stories and distortions begin to feel like the truth. You may start to question your own judgment and become more susceptible to their demands and criticisms. This control is their goal because the less connected you are to your support network, the easier it is for them to keep you off balance and compliant. Yet, this isolation is not accidental or a sign of weakness on your part. It is a calculated power play. The narcissist understands that people who are strong often lean on others for strength, wisdom, and validation. They know that genuine connection is a source of empowerment, so they work tirelessly to sever these ties. This makes it critical to recognize the patterns of manipulation early before they take root deeply. Awareness is your first defense against this form of emotional siege. When you notice unexplained tensions with friends or family, or when you feel pressure to distance yourself from those who support you, it's important to pause and assess who benefits from this division. Is this the natural course of relationships, or is someone actively engineering a wedge? Maintaining your support system in the face of narcissistic manipulation requires intentionality and courage. It means actively seeking truth beyond the narcissist's narrative and trusting in the people who have consistently proven their loyalty and care. This may involve honest conversations with friends and family, sharing your experiences openly, and asking for their perspective. You might find that your trusted allies help you see patterns of manipulation you were blind to and offer the reassurance that your feelings and perceptions are valid. Rebuilding these connections and keeping them strong is a crucial part of reinforcing your foundation against the narcissist's attempts to isolate you. Moreover, it's essential to set clear boundaries with the narcissist about what is acceptable in your relationships. You have the right to protect your connections and to reject any attempts to interfere in your personal support system. This may be uncomfortable and provoke resistance from the narcissist, who will often escalate their efforts when confronted. However, standing firm on these boundaries sends a powerful message that your strength is rooted not only in yourself, but also in your relationships, and that you will not allow anyone to undermine that. Boundaries are not walls. They are the framework that supports healthy interaction and protects your inner circle from damage. In the broader picture, resisting isolation is about reclaiming your power and refusing to let manipulation dictate your social reality. True strength is not about standing alone, it's about standing together with people who respect, uplift, and believe in you. When a narcissist attempts to cut you off from this collective power, they are trying to strip away your lifeline. But when you recognize this strategy and fight back by reinforcing your connections, you create a force too strong to be broken. You become part of a community that values your strength and refuses to be torn apart by the narcissist's tactics. In conclusion, when a narcissist sees your strength, they weaponize manipulation to isolate you from your support, hoping to weaken the foundation of your resilience. This calculated effort aims to leave you vulnerable, alone, and easier to control. But the power of your strength lies not only in your inner confidence, but in your connections to those who truly care. By recognizing the signs of manipulation, protecting your relationships, setting firm boundaries, and leaning on your support system, you dismantle the narcissist's plan and reaffirm your power. Isolation is their weapon, but connection is your armor, a shield that no narcissist can pierce when it is forged in trust, love, and truth. Expect relentless attempts to control your narrative and rewrite your story to maintain their dominance. When a narcissist sees you as too strong, one of their most relentless strategies is to seize control of your narrative, the story you tell about yourself and the truth of your experiences. Your narrative is your power. It defines your identity, your past, your present, and your future. It is the lens through which the world understands you, and, most importantly, the lens through which you understand yourself. To a narcissist, this personal story is a battlefield, and controlling it is their ultimate weapon for maintaining dominance. They will stop at nothing to rewrite your story, twisting facts, manipulating memories, and reshaping your reality to serve their agenda. This is not merely about winning an argument. It is about erasing your truth and replacing it with a version that elevates them while diminishing you. Narrative control is at the heart of narcissistic manipulation because it allows them to rewrite history in their favor. They recast themselves as the victim, the hero, or the misunderstood genius, while portraying you as unstable, unreasonable, or ungrateful. This rewriting of your shared history creates confusion and self-doubt, and over time, it chips away at your confidence and clarity. They may deny things they said or did, twist your words, or accuse you of exaggerating or misremembering events. This gaslighting tactic not only distorts the facts, but also aims to destabilize your sense of reality. When your own memories become unreliable in your eyes, the narcissist's version gains dominance, and with it, their control. Their control over your narrative extends beyond personal interactions. They manipulate how others perceive you as well. Narcissists often spread misinformation or carefully crafted stories that serve their purpose, poisoning your reputation in subtle or overt ways. They know that public perception shapes power, and by controlling what others believe about you, they gain leverage. They might subtly discredit your achievements, question your motives, or paint you as difficult or toxic. These tactics isolate you further, making it difficult for you to find allies or support. In social or professional environments, this rewriting of your story can damage relationships, careers, and opportunities, all designed to keep you off balance and in a weakened state. What makes this manipulation so insidious is its persistence. The narcissist will repeatedly revisit past events, each time spinning the story differently to suit their needs. They are relentless in their effort to keep you uncertain and off guard, never allowing you to settle into a clear understanding of what really happened. This constant rewriting creates a chaotic mental space where your truth becomes fragmented, and their version becomes the dominant narrative by sheer force of repetition. The more they control the narrative, the more control they have over your emotions, decisions, and sense of self. Furthermore, the narcissist's narrative control is often cloaked in charm and feigned concern. They present themselves as the rational one, the peacemaker, or the victim of your perceived flaws or attacks. This manipulation is deeply strategic because it confuses outsiders and even yourself. You may find yourself apologizing, questioning your actions, or bending over backward to make peace, all while the narcissist quietly continues to rewrite your story behind the scenes. This double-edged approach keeps you constantly off balance, publicly accommodating their version while privately struggling to hold onto your own truth. The struggle to reclaim your narrative in the face of such manipulation is one of the hardest battles you will face, but it is also one of the most critical. It begins with recognizing that the narcissist's version of your story is a constructed illusion, designed not to reflect reality, but to maintain their control. Once you understand that, you can start to assert your truth more confidently. This might involve documenting your experiences, journaling your feelings, or seeking validation from trustworthy friends or professionals who know your character and can affirm your reality. Reclaiming your narrative also means refusing to engage in endless debates or attempts to prove your truth to the narcissist. Their goal is not resolution but dominance, and engaging on their terms only drains your energy. Building a strong, supportive community is essential in this process. People who know you well and stand by your side become living witnesses to your truth. They provide an external mirror that reflects your reality back to you, strengthening your confidence and grounding you in your identity. Sharing your story with trusted allies helps to break the narcissist's monopoly on the narrative and diminishes their power to isolate you. The more your truth is seen and heard by others, the harder it becomes for the narcissist to control it. Another crucial part of reclaiming your story is setting firm boundaries around conversations and interactions with the narcissist. When you refuse to participate in their attempts to rewrite history or deflect blame, you signal that your narrative is not up for grabs. This might look like calmly stating facts without engaging in arguments, walking away from manipulative conversations, or seeking mediation if necessary. Boundaries protect your mental space and prevent the narcissist from continuing their rewriting unchecked. Over time, this consistent resistance erodes their ability to control your story and reestablishes your authority over your own life. Ultimately, controlling the narrative is about power. Power over perception, power over emotion, and power over self-definition. Narcissists fear losing this power because it threatens their carefully maintained image and their ability to manipulate others. When you refuse to let them rewrite your story, you take back control over your life and your identity. You affirm that your experiences, feelings, and truths matter. This reclaiming of your narrative is an act of liberation and empowerment that no narcissist can permanently undo. In conclusion, when a narcissist sees you as being too strong, one of their most relentless tactics is to control your narrative and rewrite your story to maintain their dominance. This manipulation distorts your reality, isolates you, and undermines your confidence. However, your narrative is yours to own. By recognizing the tactics used against you, grounding yourself in your truth, building supportive relationships, and setting firm boundaries, you reclaim your story and your power. Your strength shines brightest when you refuse to be defined by anyone else's version of your life, standing firm in the truth of who you are and what you have endured. They exploit your kindness as a vulnerability, testing your boundaries to assert power. When a narcissist sees you as being too strong, one of the most insidious tactics they use is exploiting your kindness as a vulnerability. Kindness, often seen as a strength and a mark of emotional maturity, becomes a weapon in their hands, a door through which they invade your personal boundaries, erode your sense of self, and assert their power. To the narcissist, kindness is not an expression of genuine care or generosity, but a weakness to be manipulated and exploited. They recognize that your compassionate nature and willingness to give, forgive, and support can be twisted to serve their agenda. This exploitation is not accidental or casual. It is calculated and persistent. The narcissist deliberately tests your boundaries to see how far they can push before you resist. And they push relentlessly because each boundary they break is a step closer to domination. The process often begins subtly, with small requests or favors that seem reasonable and harmless. The narcissist will appeal to your kindness by framing their needs as urgent or justified, knowing you are likely to respond with empathy and willingness. At first, these requests may appear innocent, even endearing, as they paint themselves as someone who needs your support or understanding. However, what starts as occasional demands quickly escalates into a pattern of exploitation. They begin to expect your availability, your energy, and your resources without regard for your own limits or well-being. Your kindness is no longer a voluntary gift, but an obligation enforced by manipulation and emotional coercion. One of the key ways narcissists exploit kindness is by refusing to respect your boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your emotional, mental, and physical space. They are essential for healthy relationships because they define what you are comfortable with and what you will not tolerate. However, narcissists see boundaries as obstacles to be overcome or ignored. They will test your limits by making increasingly unreasonable demands, invading your privacy, or disregarding your needs. When you assert your boundaries, they may respond with anger, guilt, tripping, or victim, playing to pressure you into compliance. Their goal is to wear you down until you abandon your boundaries entirely, making yourself fully accessible and vulnerable to their control. This testing of boundaries can take many forms. It might be relentless phone calls or messages when you need space, unsolicited advice disguised as concern, or intrusions into your personal life and decisions. Narcissists may also exploit your kindness by creating crises or emergencies that require your intervention, knowing that you are likely to respond out of a sense of duty or compassion. They manipulate your sense of responsibility toward others, using it against you to drain your time, energy, and emotional resources. The more you give, the more they expect, creating a cycle of exploitation that leaves you exhausted and depleted. What makes this exploitation particularly damaging is that it often leads to confusion and self-doubt. You may start questioning whether you are being selfish or unkind when you attempt to set limits. The narcissist's manipulative tactics, such as guilt trips and emotional blackmail, are designed to make you feel responsible for their feelings and needs. They may say things like, "If you really cared about me, you'd do this," or "I can't handle this without you." These statements prey on your empathy and sense of loyalty, making it difficult to recognize the manipulation for what it is. Over time, you might internalize these messages, believing that your kindness requires sacrifice, and that saying no is wrong or harmful. However, true kindness is not about self-abandonment. It is about generosity that respects both your needs and the needs of others. Narcissists distort this truth to exploit you, but reclaiming your power means reclaiming the real meaning of kindness. It means understanding that kindness includes kindness toward yourself, which requires protecting your boundaries and saying no when necessary. It also means recognizing that you are not responsible for fixing the narcissist's problems or managing their emotions. Their neediness is their burden, not yours. When you accept this, you begin to dismantle the narcissist's control over you and restore balance in your relationships. Re-establishing boundaries after they have been tested or broken by a narcissist is a critical step in regaining your strength. This process starts with self-awareness, knowing your limits, what you will tolerate, and what you will not. It also requires clear communication. You must articulate your boundaries firmly and consistently, without apology or justification. Narcissists often push back against boundaries because they threaten their sense of entitlement, so your resolve must be unwavering. When they attempt to guilt or manipulate you, remind yourself that maintaining your boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. Another powerful tool against the exploitation of kindness is learning to detach emotionally from the narcissist's manipulations. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent, but rather developing emotional resilience so that their guilt trips, anger, or pleas do not overwhelm you. Emotional detachment allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively to their provocations. It helps you maintain perspective and prioritize your well-being, even when the narcissist tries to pull you into drama or crisis. This kind of detachment is often supported by seeking outside perspectives, trusted friends, therapists, or support groups, who can remind you of your value and help you see the situation clearly. In addition to setting boundaries and emotional detachment, cultivating a strong sense of self-worth is essential to protecting your kindness from exploitation. Narcissists prey on those who doubt their own value or who feel compelled to prove their worth through acts of kindness. When your self-esteem is strong and rooted in a healthy understanding of your worth, you are less likely to allow yourself to be manipulated. You understand that you deserve respect, care, and reciprocity, and you are prepared to walk away from relationships that undermine these principles. Your kindness becomes a genuine gift rather than a vulnerability to be exploited. It's also important to redefine your relationship with kindness itself. Kindness is not a weapon for others to use against you, but a power you control. It is the ability to give freely without expectation, to show compassion without losing yourself, and to offer support without sacrificing your well-being. When you embrace this empowering view of kindness, you transform it from a vulnerability into a source of strength. You become a person who can be kind and strong simultaneously, someone who honors their own limits while uplifting others. Finally, recognizing the narcissist's exploitation of your kindness as a form of control allows you to reclaim your narrative in this dynamic. You are not a doormat or a source of endless supply. You are a whole person with needs, boundaries, and the right to say no. By refusing to be defined by the narcissist's manipulation, you regain control over your relationships and your life. This reclamation is a declaration of your strength and dignity, a refusal to allow your kindness to be used as a means of domination. In conclusion, when a narcissist sees you as being too strong, they exploit your kindness as a vulnerability, relentlessly testing your boundaries to assert power. They push, manipulate, and guilt trip to erode your limits and increase their control. However, true kindness is a strength that honors both yourself and others. By recognizing this exploitation, setting clear boundaries, cultivating emotional detachment, and nurturing your self-worth, you protect your kindness from being weaponized. In doing so, you reclaim your power and demonstrate that kindness and strength are not opposites but partners in resilience. Your strength shines brightest when you give freely without losing yourself, standing firm against those who seek to exploit your generosity. They escalate conflict and drama to destabilize your peace and keep you off balance. When a narcissist perceives you as being too strong, one of their most destructive tactics is to escalate conflict and drama intentionally in order to destabilize your peace and keep you emotionally off balance. Peace, calm, and stability are the foundations upon which strength is built, and a narcissist's primary goal is to dismantle those foundations so that you become vulnerable to their control. Conflict and drama are their tools to shatter your equilibrium, sow confusion, and provoke emotional turmoil. This escalation is never random. It is a calculated strategy designed to pull you into reactive states where your clarity and confidence waver and their dominance solidifies. The narcissist's escalation of conflict often begins with small provocations, subtle jabs, passive-aggressive remarks, or indirect challenges that test your tolerance and composure. These minor incidents are carefully crafted to irritate and unsettle without immediately revealing the full extent of the manipulation. When you respond, whether with frustration, anger, or confusion, they interpret your reaction as a victory, proof that they can influence your emotional state. But the provocations rarely stop there. Instead, they increase in intensity and frequency, feeding into a cycle of ongoing tension and instability. This persistent barrage of conflict is designed to exhaust your mental and emotional resources, making it harder to maintain your strength over time. Drama is the fuel that feeds this escalating conflict. Narcissists thrive on chaos because it provides a stage for them to assert control and shift attention onto themselves. Drama can take many forms: exaggerated crises, accusations, emotional outbursts, or the creation of divisive situations among your social or professional circles. They might blow minor issues out of proportion or invent problems where none exist, always ensuring that the spotlight remains on the turmoil they create. This constant drama serves two purposes. It distracts you from your goals and strengths, and it makes you dependent on the narcissist's reactions and solutions, which they present as the only way to restore order. This manufactured chaos is deeply destabilizing because it disrupts your internal peace and your external relationships. When caught in the whirlwind of narcissistic drama, your focus shifts from your own growth and well-being to managing the crises and conflicts they manufacture. Your energy is diverted into damage control, often leaving you emotionally drained and mentally scattered. The narcissist's constant disruptions undermine your ability to think clearly and act decisively, which are essential components of true strength. They want you in a reactive mode, angry, defensive, anxious. Because in these states, you are easier to manipulate and control. Moreover, the narcissist's escalation of conflict often involves gaslighting and distortion of facts. They may deny their role in creating conflict or accuse you of being the source of the drama. This twisting of reality increases your confusion and self-doubt, making it difficult to trust your own perceptions or judgments. You may start to question whether you are overreacting or imagining things, which further destabilizes your peace of mind. This confusion is precisely what the narcissist seeks, as it creates a power imbalance where they control the narrative and your emotional responses. The escalation tactic also serves to isolate you. When conflict and drama become frequent, others in your life may begin to distance themselves, either out of frustration, confusion, or fatigue. This isolation weakens your support system, making you more dependent on the narcissist, who often positions themselves as the only one who understands or cares about you. By destabilizing your peace and fracturing your relationships, the narcissist builds a fortress around you that keeps you trapped in their influence. It's important to recognize that this escalation of conflict is not a reflection of your weakness, but a sign of the narcissist's desperation. When they escalate drama and tension, it means they fear your strength and the stability it represents. They see your peace as a threat because it undermines their ability to control you. Your calm, centered presence exposes their manipulative tactics and makes it harder for them to dominate. That is why they fight so hard to disrupt it. Reclaiming your peace in the face of narcissistic escalation requires conscious effort and strategies. The first step is awareness, understanding that the conflict and drama are tactics designed to destabilize you. Once you see the pattern, you can begin to detach emotionally from the narcissist's provocations. Emotional detachment does not mean indifference or coldness. It means maintaining a calm and centered inner state that is not easily shaken by external chaos. This requires cultivating mindfulness and emotional resilience, so you respond rather than react to provocations. Setting firm boundaries is essential in managing escalating conflict. You have the right to refuse engagement in unnecessary drama or toxic arguments. This might involve walking away from conversations that turn hostile or refusing to participate in cycles of blame and accusation. Boundaries protect your mental space and signal to the narcissist that their tactics will not succeed. It also helps to limit your exposure to the narcissist when possible, reducing the opportunities for conflict escalation. Another vital strategy is developing a strong support network. Trusted friends, family, or professionals can offer perspective and validation, helping you maintain clarity amid the chaos. They remind you of your strength and truth when the narcissist's drama tries to distort reality. Supportive relationships act as anchors, grounding you and preventing isolation, which the narcissist often seeks to impose. Self-care is also a critical element in restoring your peace. Taking time to nurture your physical, mental, and emotional health replenishes your energy and resilience. Practices such as meditation, exercise, journaling, or engaging in hobbies you love help you reconnect with your inner calm and joy. When your well-being is prioritized, you become less susceptible to the destabilizing effects of narcissistic drama. Importantly, developing assertiveness skills empowers you to communicate your needs and boundaries clearly and confidently. Assertiveness is not aggression, it is the ability to stand up for yourself while respecting others. It sends a powerful message to the narcissist that you will not tolerate manipulative or toxic behavior. Consistent assertiveness disrupts their escalation pattern by removing the emotional fuel they seek. Understanding the narcissist's need to escalate conflict and drama also invites compassion for yourself. You are not to blame for their tactics or for feeling shaken by their chaos. Recognizing that their behavior is a reflection of their own insecurities and need for control helps depersonalize their attacks. This perspective frees you from internalizing their manipulations and reinforces your commitment to maintaining peace. Ultimately, regaining your peace and stability is a reclaiming of power. Peace is not passivity. It is a strong, deliberate state of being that resists manipulation and chaos. When you maintain your calm in the face of narcissistic escalation, you deny them the control they seek. Your strength shines through your ability to stand firm and centered amid the storm, demonstrating that no amount of conflict or drama can diminish your inner power. In conclusion, when a narcissist sees you as being too strong, they escalate conflict and drama intentionally to destabilize your peace and keep you off balance. This calculated tactic saps your energy, distorts reality, isolates you, and undermines your strength. However, peace is a powerful fortress, and by cultivating awareness, emotional detachment, firm boundaries, supportive relationships, self-care, and assertiveness, you reclaim your stability and your power. Your strength is reflected not just in how you face conflict, but in your ability to maintain peace in the midst of chaos, a peace that no narcissist can break.